And hopefully they listen to all the announcements. You should have done up until this point, and you have a paper clip keeping it all nice and organized. Non-calculator multiple choice 2008, calculator multiple choice 2008, and now calculator FRQs 2008. So what's missing? Non-calculator non-calculator FRQs, which is homework tonight, due tomorrow. Should be due tomorrow. We'll put it that way. And then the Tuesday after we get back from break, what is literally due as far as for credit? 2008 fully attempted, graded, and corrected, right? Your when you see, you think fully attempted, each and every box thought through, but maybe not perfectly figured out. And then your 2003 bonus practice exam, which my advice would be for those of you taking the mock AP Saturday to have it attempted by tomorrow or by Saturday, but you choose to take it when you want to take it, etc. And some of you just need spring break to catch up. I will go ahead and post one more practice exam, one of the more commonly distributed, there's a lot of solutions online, etc. exams, multiple choice exams online over break. It's not technically due Tuesday. It's going to be in the lump of exams towards the actual AP, but some of you have time and you could try another one, which wouldn't be bad anyway. Yeah, we'll leave it there. What's happening the Tuesday you get back? There's going to be a large forever quiz, forever and ever quiz, because what's going to be homework over break? Quoting or writing. Quoting or writing. If you guys figure it out as far as like the points, if it's up to 10 to be 100 and then 15 to be as many bonus as is possible. You guys know a check mark in the box. For some reason, over Christmas break, a lot of people got confused and did this wrong from AB and BC. Remember, a check mark in a box, what does it mean? You've quoted it from beginning to end of Forever's papers. You're using my PowerPoint slides or using your cards. So a check mark means I've done the whole thing beginning to end. Should you have all the boxes filled? No. 10. Up to 15. You're not supposed to be doing every single day, every single window. No, that's weird. But could you have a couple here and then like one there and then a couple there and then like, quiz is coming. Okay, yeah, that's possible. But one check mark means quoting. What do you do if you handwrite it? You staple it on the back, right? If you decide to handwrite and you're like, I'm going to handwrite 7 times because that's going to get me 14 points and then quote once. 7, actually someone yesterday, pre-cal kid who writes out her formulas, she was like, look, I wrote out my formula 7 times because after writing it 7 times, your brain's supposed to like remember it. I don't know. It wasn't really on purpose as far as 7 times. But if you decide to do 7 times, you're like, card 1, 7 times. Card 2, 7 times. Card 3, 7 times. I'm tired. Around card 20. You don't even have 1 time done. So how am I supposed to count that? So if you decide to be like, I'm going to do them all 7 times, you commit and you go. Like, just too bad you committed. But that's just my advice. I just don't want you guys to waste time and be like, I'm going to do this. And then the end of break, it's like, there's no way I can do this. Just be practical as far as what you choose to do. But yeah, we have a large Forever Endeavor quest, something or others, the day we get back. And then, of course, our Forever Endeavor final is closer to the actual AP. Any of the logistics? What, Isa? Oh, go more than 10. Go more than 10. Yeah, yeah. Some of you guys are wanting extra credit, and that's definitely a good one. That's for AB, that's for BC. So we have our logistics in here for this week. I'll go ahead and post another one for spring break. That way, for those of you guys that aren't with us tomorrow, there's not something that gets lost in translation somewhere along the way. But I do have the FRQs ready, 1 through 3. Both the scoring guidelines for you guys to ask me questions as far as what the score was supposed to be. Well, regarding the question, regarding the solution, and or regarding the grading. Those are the 3 different things we're focusing on, FRQs 1 through 3. And if we have time, we'll go back to multiple choice questions that we haven't covered. Cool? So FRQs out. You guys should have on your FRQs right now a number out of 9 on every single one. Can you really quickly on the front of the first FRQ give me a total out of 27? How did you do on all the calculator FRQs put together? Get me a percentage. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, like a question specific. Got it. Any general, logistical, or otherwise questions? People who are not going to be helping with spring fling tomorrow, aka not here for this class, so everybody else, where are we going tomorrow for class? 108, yeah. So don't come here tomorrow. Bring your stuff because we can go over some questions, etc., just not with like the big whiteboard or smartboard. You are going down to the classroom at the very end of the building by the fence back there where the picnic tables are. And I'll be there with the door open and hopefully the oven's fired up and churros are cooking. A bacon? A cooking? Is there any way to get whoever buys them to put it in the fridge down there? I don't know. Who's buying them? Richmond? They should be bought? Okay. Spoiled rotten kitchen timer. Okay. Oh, you brought a timer. Good job. Yeah, I knew you were supposed to. People were frantically looking for them today, and I was like, ah. Okay. So logistical questions are done. Figuring out for tomorrow is done. Figuring out for spring break is done. And then the Tuesday we get back is done. We're good? Yes. Go, team. Mock AP? Yes. Library? Saturday, those of you who are coming. Wednesday, well, you're just going to keep on staying all the way through. Oh, good question. But anyway, sorry, Saturday, library, 8 to noon. Come a little early because food will be there. Sound good? And then Sunday at Maggie's for throw address in group chat maybe for grading. Yeah, Aryan. Oh, that was just a, okay. At 5, yes. All right, cool kids, here we go. Boop, boop. FRQs. Can we just go with number 1? Start with number 1? Okay. Oh, yes, I did. But then Riley and Diva are gone. But then they both said they wouldn't be coming until the Thursday one, right? Okay. Where's my cool little sign up? I have a cool little sign up. Here we go. Boop, boop. We'll go backwards the other sign up. We're doing Sunday.
You poked it with an angry stick and it didn't do anything. Like, what's it supposed to do instead? And why is the stick angry?
I'm so confused. Who? What?
It's like hitting some, what is it called? I don't know. Like hitting some with a happy stick or something? I don't know.
People who are tuning in, I have no idea what the story is for.
She was laughing hysterically, and the stick was like, no, you can't step outside. Write your essay. Yeah, because I was going to keep on laughing, but no, it was good. She helped me restrain myself.
Oh, okay.
Which is
Who poked someone with an angry stick?
this guy.
There was this really weird poem about this guy.
Oh, is it?
Can you just imagine?
You know what I said?
He's like,
I said the poem takes us on a journey through his emotions to ultimately reveal that death is tragic, but there's beauty in nature or something like that.
Ooh. Ooh.
I wrote that at first. He was like fearful and he was like in shock, but then he like.
Now you're hearing what you missed out on AP Lit.
He said he went from all to accepting, and then he found a little.
Maybe we'll do calculus soon. Not really sure. But there was a stick. And Kathy was laughing. And a groundhog that was dead. Anyway, so here we go. FRQ number 1. So we're looking at the question. If you have any questions on the question, if you have any question on the solution, any question on the grading. Now pause. Before you ask any questions, can you trade your FRQ number 1 with someone else in your group and have them look critically at it to see if there's any place the AP graders could take away your points for not writing DX, for not using grouping symbols, for not correctly stating justification?
just judge my
What?
like, she should not have worn that.
Oh, an extra copy? Yeah. I think this is a spare. Yeah, I think it's okay. Okay, right now we're going over FRQ questions. Where are your FRQs? But Aryan did ask if Aryan did ask if what was turned in the Tuesday after spring break would go to your grade before the grading period. And I said yes. Including bonus. The mock won't be able to be ready to go in. The forever quiz will be on Tuesday, that won't. But the bonus from the bonus exam, the bonus from the quoting, the other optional bonus exam.
What about the
5A, yeah, it'll go in.
we get to drop our lowest score?
Well, the final's not graded yet. Well, we haven't taken the final yet. And then the final's not graded yet. And then nothing gets dropped, but it can get replaced with the final if it's higher. but that's not. You see what I mean? Yeah. That's not possible yet. Okay, so you had someone critically look at yours and see if there was something, anything the AP guys could get mad at? Did anybody drop a DX or drop a DY? Anybody drop a pi? You should have already found that. All right. Questions on ABC?
Okay, so when it says limit,
Yep.
it says limit, it just means the
Bounds. Yeah.
And then,
P.S. Pause really quickly on letter B. If you guys rounded the bounds and put in 0.539 or 1.675, take away that point. You don't get it. You do not round the bounds. You only round final answers. We know that. We write the whole big long thing and make them letters like A and B. R and S is not magical. It's not amazing. You can use any letters you want, P and Q. Or you could have written them in 0.5391 or 1.6751 ... Like you could have written them at dots and just use them in your calculator. Don't you round until the end. Ever, ever, ever. This time. But next time it won't be because you'll do what you need to do. That's what the APs do. If you rounded the bounds, you don't get that limits point. You can get the integrand, you can get what's inside, but you don't get the limits point. Any other questions? You guys figured out that letter D was rectangular cross sections? Oh, so we have a question on letter D. But now you understand rectangular cross sections? Yeah. Whenever they give you a hint about height, it's almost always a rectangle. Yeah.
actually, I do have a question.
Yeah.
So, for my cross section,
Uh-huh.
I thought, like, I know it's area, like, the integral from x1 to x2 of the area of
Yeah.
x, right? So I put my area, a equals psi squared, because it says it's a square, right?
Yeah.
But my thing is, I said my psi was sine of pi x, just that, because it says from the x-axis or something.
When they're saying perpendicular to the x-axis, they're just saying how you're slicing, because you can do squares that are popping up like this, which would be a dy instead, and the shape would be drastically different. Does that make sense? So perpendicular to is just how you're slicing. Does that make sense? Anything else? A, B, C, D? Don't worry, AB asked that too. Well, that was an AB question. All right. Yep. Ready? I'm starting this year. I already did an AB, but that's okay. You guys will catch up. My new trend is, especially, oh, never mind. Sorry, it's the next FAQ. Oh, you don't have the next one. Oh, yeah, it's a McLaren. Never mind. All right. Wait to give you my Californian should be. Never mind. We are talking about concert tickets. We were talking about people waiting in line. That's out. Table. So whenever we see a table, don't we assume the theorem is going to come up somewhere? Okay, like an IVT or an MVT or maybe a Rolls. But where does the question start? I'm guessing B? Trapezoidal sum? On A? Uh-huh. It's all about the wording. Because they say average number of people. Average number, is that a rate? Nope. That's an average. The formula for average value. Now, if we make it specific to this one, I have people. I need to average people. That's average value of what I already have. First 4 hours, it goes on sale at 0. For 4 hours later, it would be 0 to 4, L of T dt. No big deal. Anti-derive. Plug in 4, plug in 0, times 1/4. Except I can't anti-derive because they didn't give me an L, but they did give me specific values of L, which means I can approximate this area using Riemann sums. Riemann sums could be left, could be right, could be midpoint, could be, trapezoids. Well, hold on. Isn't that a forever card that you'll be studying? You're welcome. So, trapezoids. Isn't there an area formula? Good old-fashioned geometry. Isn't area equal to 1/2 base times height 1 plus height 2? And don't they tell me 0 to 4 using 3 jumps? So can't I go ahead and set up my A1, A2, A3? That's hilarious. I was totally thinking like a mini golf and then anyway, so coming back. You're welcome. Hey, they all have 1/2. Can't we just do a big old 1/2 and pull it out of everybody? Okay, cool. So then they all have the same bases. Let's pull it. No, they don't. What's the base of that guy? 1 and then, and what do I need? Well, if you're a visual person, this is somewhat dangerous, but somewhat okay. Couldn't you have done something to do with 0 is at like 120, and then 1 is at, I don't know, something a little bit higher, and then 3 is at, I don't know, something a bit higher, and then 4 is at something a bit lower? And couldn't you actually have made trapezoids? Now, I don't know how the curve goes. I don't know about the curve, but I can make trapezoid. So either way, base of 1, base of 2, base of 1, because there's my little 2 right there. There's 1 and 3 and 4. What are my heights? Well, 0 goes up to what? 120. 1 goes up to 156, and then 176, and then 126. So couldn't I just do a little like a... Huh? Let's see what they did, because you can't really pull that out. You can't really make that pretty. So then the answer key went ahead and said, well, I'm going to go ahead... Where is he? Oh, here he is. Oh, gross. The way they did it, you can't even stick it to the man because they haven't gotten the numbers in yet. But what if we did put in the numbers like I just did? Couldn't we have stuck it to the man as long as we had 120, 156, 156, 176, 176, 126? Couldn't you have the 1/2 all the way in front? Couldn't you have that just be 1 and 2 and 1 for the bases? But why was there a 1/4? What was the formula we were doing the whole time? Average value. Riemann sum was this piece times 1 over b minus a, 1/4. Kathy.
So, what if I approximated, I rounded to the nearest whole number? I put about 155 people.
I understand why you did that. The dilemma is, I actually looked this up for an ABK because they had the same FRQ. And everywhere I looked, they didn't show an example of someone rounding it and getting it right. I didn't see someone rounding it and getting it wrong, but since I didn't see someone rounding it and getting it right, instead I say, you only round when they D. D said nearest whole number. So I can't say with certainty whether or not they would have given it to you. So instead, I'll say we'll err on the side of being safe. But I get it. You're like, people should be a whole person. Oh, well. Anything else on A, B, C, or D?
Yeah. Can you do D? Why isn't it 120 plus the integral of
Based on the model, how many tickets were sold by 3? By 3. We could say at 3, but if it was at 3, wouldn't it be integration is net change? So how many tickets were sold at 0? Well, no. 1 in line. Oh, I know, I'm sorry. It had just, I understand, this day and age, everything's so fast. 20, right when the clock dinged, no, 120 people were in line, and then it started selling. So we'll say at 0, the door opened, or the ability started, and then 1 second later, a millisecond later, they started buying them. I know it's awkward, sorry. Yeah. Actually, can I go over C? I was really hoping that someone would ask that. Can you go to your when you see you think and go to Rolle's theorem? Oh, what? I think it's D. I think it's section D. Oh, there's I don't know why there's a phone. Section D, and find me Rolle's theorem. P.S. Brought to you by $1. Hello? Right away? Okay. James Calvin, Institute in the main office. I don't know why. Okay. Oh, you're going to miss the explanation. Okay. When you see L prime equals 0. When you see L prime equals 0. When you see L prime equals 0. You should think roll, right? That's why I had you go to when you see you think letter Rolls, because Rolls says if. What are the conditions? Isn't that the thing you're filling in? If what? If f is continuous on the closed interval and differentiable on the open, and if f of a equals f of b, then there must exist a c within a to b such that f prime of c equals 0. That's why I'm bringing it up, because what are you supposed to be proving? Yay, it's Rolls. Who matches? Nobody. Okay, so if I were you, underneath the Rolls theorem, on when you see you think, I would put, what's the extra condition beyond MVT? F of A equals F of B. Then, F prime of C must equal 0. But, literally, I would write this. But, what if F of A does not equal F of B? Rolls doesn't apply, but MVT still does. So, if F of A does not equal F of B, this is just an FRQ AP trick. To show f prime of c equals 0, you must use MVT and IVT, considering average rates. So Rolls can show the derivative must be 0, but what if you're looking for the derivative to be 0? Rolls does not work. You're going to have to use MVT and IVT, looking at the average rates. Meaning, on average, between 0 and 1, the first hour, the ticket sales were ticket sales opened, right? And people were buying them. The first hour, what was happening to the number of people in line? On average, the number did what? Increased. On average, the number of people in line increased. How about between 1 and 3? On average, what happened? The number, once again, you guys know what I mean by average, right? F of B minus F of A all over B minus A, or L of B minus L of A all over B minus A. On average, the number went up. On average, between 1 and 3, the number went 156 to 176. Okay. Increase. Average. Increase. Average. Average. Wow. Guys. I'm scared because we don't know what numbers are higher and what numbers are lower. What's going on to my L's as time is progressing? The first hour, the number of people in line on average increased because the number got bigger. On average, between 1 and 3, you guys are worse than AB today. On average, what happened? Increase. 3 to 4. Decrease. Okay, so hold on. If on average I have an increase and on average I have a decrease, what does MVT tell me must be true if the average is increasing and if the average shows an increase and if the average shows a decrease? The instantaneous. Hold on, you went too far. MVT just says, oh, whatever the average does, there must be an instantaneous, right? Whatever F of B minus F of A over B minus A is, there must be a derivative that, right? So if the average increase, average decrease between 1 and 4, then can't I also say by MVT, since this is a twice differentiable function, which means if it's differentiable, it must have been continuous, can't I say by IVT there was an instantaneous increase and an instantaneous decrease? And then IVT says, wait a minute, if you just said that there was a place where the derivative was positive and a place where the derivative was negative, what can I say about what it must have passed through somewhere in between? Guys, why? I don't know why. A 0. A 0. To go from positive to negative, a continuous function must pass through 0. Right. I should just start saying my own answers. Anyway, this is something that tricked you last year and something that could very well trick you this year as well. Okay? So what's going on? They say, by MVT, and I would actually state there's an average increase, therefore by MVT an instantaneous increase on this interval. They say the derivative is positive because of that average increase. The average decrease implies that the derivative by MVT must have been negative. Sorry, there we go. Negative on this interval, and they're actually saying the other ones as well. But basically, if you were super detailed about this first interval and you said, hey, look, there's an average increase and an average decrease, which means there's an instantaneous increase and an instantaneous decrease, By IVT, there must have been a sign change somewhere between 1 and 4, so there must be a 0 somewhere between 1 and 4. And you can just say this really nice word similarly, or with similar arguments, or by similar logic. Similarly means I've been really detailed and now you shouldn't need any more information from me. An increase to a decrease, there's a 0. A decrease to an increase, there's another 0. An increase to a decrease, there's a third 0. So long story short, did you talk about the sign of L prime having to change because of the average increases and decreases? Did you talk about MVT and IVT, about what that shows about the derivatives and the derivative signs? And specifically the zeros that must exist as a result. See IVT right down here. And then did you figure out there are 3 different places? See that word similarly? They weren't near as detailed for the rest. Now they went ahead and said, oh, hey, positive here, negative there, negative there. You could have also been really detailed about that one interval and said, by similar logic, I've actually seen this explained better ways since then. Since this one, since 2008. There are more recent FRQs that say it a little bit better. I mean, this one's okay, but MVT and IVT is so much clearer and harder to mess up. So anyway, Maggie, what did you put?
I gave myself a point for considered change in sign, and then I gave it to the conclusion because I got to see that I didn't do analysis.
No, MVT, IVT? Okay.
Yeah, I put L prime of 2 must equal 0 when L of 2 has a relative maximum or minimum. Therefore, L prime of 2 must equal 0 at least 3 times because there is a local max and min at t equals 3, t equals 4.
Ooh, as soon as you said at, you just got it wrong. Because it's not at those points. Because remember the table, I don't know if that necessarily was my critical number or not. I just know somewhere around it happened. Does that make sense? Yeah. So then, if you look down here, see how they were super ambiguous? Had to obtain somewhere in, somewhere in, somewhere in. Change that and I think you'll be okay-ish. Just be careful. I would give you 2. Because it says considered relative extrema, check. And then the conclusion, check. My guys that just missed out, we were talking about how roles can show that the derivative equals 0, but so can MVT/IVT combination, and I talked it through as far as see how to still prove this when no y values match. Okay, anything else A to D on number 2? Number 3.
Okay, can you go for the analysis, not the analysis, the third point? Because I put that it would be...
This one, P1 of 1.9?
Yeah, I put it the greater approximation since H prime is increasing on the interval.
Careful. H prime, hold on, letter A.
Like I have my little thing, but I thought it was increasing.
Okay, you have different ways of doing it. One way, 1.9 is in between. Oh, we're at 2. Okay. The 1 at 2, so we can look here. We know that H is positive, H prime is positive, so H is increasing. H double prime is positive, so H is concave up, which also means H prime is increasing. You got to think concave up. Whenever we're doing concave up, if we're doing a tangent line approximate, wait, I thought it was a first degree Taylor polynomial. What is a first degree Taylor polynomial? A line. Concavity, a line will always be below. If it's concave up, a line will always be above if concave down. So based on H prime increasing, or even just based on H double prime being positive or H prime being concave up, all of those point to the exact same conclusion, just in different wordings, different ways, but all of them say. Another way of thinking about it is, doesn't a line have constant slope? So if the line goes out in a constant way, and if H prime is increasing, it's steeper, so it's above. But if H prime was decreasing, then the rate would be below the constant, if that makes more sense. Is that okay? Anything else, A, B, or C? Grading, C? Yeah, no, they didn't put it in. Okay. Well, you already built the third degree Taylor polynomial, right? Technically it was right here? Yeah. And then you were plugging in to show the third degree Taylor polynomial about 2 approximating. You were putting in 1.9. And so you got your 67.998. So then thinking about the Lagrange error bound, just the formula, we could say that the error or the remainder is equal to the polynomial approximation of 1.9 minus the actual 1.9, except, hold on, sorry, this is H, right? Not F. That would have been bad. Okay. Now how does Lagrange work? If we're talking about a third degree Taylor polynomial, what's going on up here? No, sorry, yeah, I just hadn't gotten there. And it's centered around approximating at 1.9, right? No, you're good. What does this say about what does this say about all the derivatives? Increasing. So the fourth derivative of, man, that would have been bad. They would have taken off the point. The fourth derivative of h is increasing, strictly increasing this whole time. True? So if z fourth derivative on what where you're approximating it at versus where you're centered. If I'm just trying to maximize this guy on this interval, now here's this sticky part. And this FRQ, I'm saying this because last year on 2018 there was one very similar and they made a big deal about it at the conference I went to. It doesn't say justify, right? But if you guessed right, you wouldn't have gotten all the points. It stinks. But they, with Z, expect you to somehow justify what you're plugging in and why. Doesn't have to be a paragraph, doesn't even have to be a sentence. But why are we going to go ahead and use the fourth derivative at 2? Because the fourth derivative is increasing, so therefore, when is it going to be highest? At 2. So we can say, since the fourth derivative is increasing on the interval, therefore this is maximized at 2, and then we can plug in. And so that's why we would go ahead and do 584, all over 9, all over 4 factorial, times 1.9 minus 2, all to the fourth. And we can be like, oh yeah, that's less than 3 times 10 to the negative fourth. Ta-da! Here? Here? Because the interval is always on. Remember we had to rework that Endeavor card? The interval is always going to be on where you're centered at and what you're plugging in. Does that make sense? I mean, I had it wrong like, what, 2 different times before we got it right, so I apologize for that. But, so then check it. Reasoning. Choosing 580. But as long as you said, oh, he's increasing, yeah, it's obvious. Okay. And as long as you say, like, oh, hey, he's less than. Okay. But I know, I'm sorry. Any other questions on A through C? All right. Those of you guys that didn't have it fully attempted, lo siento, I don't know what to say besides, well, maybe an oof too. Let's go back to the multiple choice, because I really don't think we finished them all. Did we yesterday? Oh, wrong one. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Anything on 1 through 28 or 76 through 92? Did I not give you blank multiple choice anywhere? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, any ones that we didn't get to yesterday? I thought there were at least a couple. 1 through 28 or 76 through 92.
entirely different thing. It doesn't seem to relate. Number 86.
Number 86. Let's go see. I don't remember. Don't worry, I'm coming. I'm still coming. There we go. No, but it's a good one. Why? Doesn't this almost look like an integration as net change one? Where they give you 1 point and they want another point? But you can't do integration as net change unless you have a derivative. No? Are you sure? I kind of just gave up on integration as net change, and I kind of just solved my differential equation. Here's the struggle. Remember, whether it's a related rates problem or whether it's some sort of like, I really wish I had a derivative right now, they can use words to talk about dx's, dv, dt's, dr, ds's, I don't know. Whatever rate of something with respect to something else they want to talk about. So when we see the word slope, when we see this is a tangent, ooh, I can get the slope, and that is the derivative. We have to be looking for what we need that we don't have, and how they somehow have either given it to us or given enough, like in a graph or in a table, enough for us to deal with the information to kind of approximate or estimate. Yeah, good question though, Kathy. Anything else? Why are you doing good on the multiple choice? Question, what percentage are we aiming for? 70. Let's do 70. Technically a 65-ish, but we'll go 70. Okay, are we better? Are we allowed to make some mistakes? But do we want to make fewer mistakes the more we progress in study? That's the hope, that's the goal, because we know exactly what's coming. Not precisely, but in calculus, any more than any other subject, can we prepare? Yes. Yeah. Maggie asked yesterday, I didn't really say anything super specific about it besides quickly pointing it out. But if you guys are trying to think of, or towards the mock AP, whichever one you're taking, remember I mentioned in your shared folder how I had put some extra stuff, right? And in that extra stuff category, the AP exam prep, and then all the advice and the tips and the review tools. Remember at the very, very bottom, what to expect on the BC exam, the FRQs. This person, oh, the name's not on here. This one gives a basic rundown of all the different possible types of FRQs. Now it says something like for May 7th, 2014. Anyway, that's about the same as it is now. However, there is an updated one if you... Ooh, do I have it here? Is it this guy? No, that's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. I'll try to find a good document. There's actually a better one that I have from someone called Lynn There it is. Lynn McMullen. He's kind of the king of calculus in so many different ways, and he's the king kind of the entire AP exam in the sense of he has worked through all sorts of different statistics, logistics, etc., as far as what is there, when it's there, how it's there, etc. He's not like telling you, you know, these 6 topics are on the AP, but he does do some great analysis as far as what to expect, and what he says, it encapsulates all the different possible. I think he's actually, is he the head? No, he's not the head reader. But even the head reader retired, so there's a new head reader this summer. But anyway, so that's a good one. I'll see if I can find you a better document as far as what to expect for you guys in studying. But for right now, some of you are just trying to save your grades, and if you're trying to save your grades, hey, bonus practice exams. Have fun with that. And endeavor, forever, endeavor, quoting. Any quick questions about logistics? I just need to get you numbers 4 through 6, right? The non-calculator FRQs.